Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 15 of the Braindrizzle podcast. I'm your host, Q Dragon. With me, as always, is Jack. Hello, Jack.
What it do?
Today is a hostful. I know our audience has been a little spoiled because we just had two guest episodes in a row.
Yeah.
So you're just stuck with us this week.
Huh. Yeah, suck it up and eat your vegetables.
Anyway, getting right into the news, because we haven't done that for a little while. My first story is about a mathematical model for predicting the outcomes of lung cancer patients. So,
Ooh.
different factors of their tumors and different treatment options. And they found it's actually better at predicting outcomes than doctors.
Wow, really?
Yeah, in an experiment, they had to both the model and the doctors had to predict like a bunch of patients whether they would survive 2 years, whether they would have shortness of breath, and whether they would have difficulty swallowing.
Mm.
And the doctors got around 50%, a little above, for each category, and the model got over 70-ish for each category.
I see. That's pretty neat. That's very, very useful. Lung cancer is a bitch that needs to die. I mean, if we can predict outcomes like this, like whether or not can that be used to help choose treatment options, just be like, okay, we predict that you're going to have this problem, so maybe this option's better than that option. Is in that direction, or is this just kind of preliminary?
No, the people behind the study, by the way, this is based out of the Netherlands, really want to start implementing this in the clinic. Because it's not really ethical to just base opinions on the doctor if we know this model is better.
Yeah.
So it's like if it's a really aggressive lung cancer, it's like, okay, you might be successful with this really aggressive treatment, or you might want to opt for quality of life and go for a milder treatment.
Ah, yeah, that's a good point.
And they're still going to be refining the model because there's a lot of different subtypes of lung cancer and whatnot.
Yeah, seriously, there's too much cancer. Too much cancer.
So I just thought that was interesting that it is better. It seems like way better, and the doctors are predicting near the chance level.
Oh, ouch. So I just imagining seeing a bunch of doctors hanging out in a break room and one of them just angrily playing with one of those rubber ball and paddle things, and they all got mean looks on their faces like goddamn computers.
Yeah, a little bit. I could see that, but I think it's ultimately a good thing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's cool.
And okay, you listeners at home, I'd like to give you a moment to insert your own idiocracy joke reference here. Oh, that's great. You nailed that one on the head.
I know. It's okay. I need just the right amount of time.
Indeed.
The next story comes from Virginia Tech, where some researchers have succeeded transforming cellulose into starch.
God damn it, it's about time we found a way to turn celery into junk food.
Basically, any plant or corn husks could be turned into starch that could be edible.
Corn husk chips. Yummy, yummy corn husk chips. This will be a thing, and it might be delicious. You don't know. Tamales are pretty good.
Maybe, but right now it seems weird because most of it gets turned into amylose, which is a type of dietary fiber, so it's still not digestible. But the rest seems to get turned into glucose, so that's just basically sugar. So I mean, we're talking a huge source of potential nutrition, biofuel, feedstock.
And fiber. Metamucil will go out of business.
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome. It's basically just the article doesn't go into much detail, but it's basically just a bunch of enzymes.
It's always a bunch of enzymes.
pretty much. So it's like 30% amylose and the rest is glucose.
Amylose and glucose.
So I thought that's pretty cool because it's like, well, now you could like literally turn any plant into food.
Yeah, no, that actually is pretty sweet.
Like, here's a tree. Let's eat it.
That means that you could turn wood into food.
Yeah.
Would there be such a thing as wood that is too old to be turned into food, do you think?
A tree, most of trees, is just dead cellulose.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what the process works on, is the cellulose.
But I'm thinking, like, I got a cheap-ass entertainment stand that is made out of particle board. If they found a way to separate all of the wood particles from the glue and turned that into food, I mean, would you be able to eat it? Would I be able to eat my furniture if it came down to it?
Well, I guess if it wasn't, like, super chemically treated, and you were able to, like, just get the cellulose, then I don't see why not.
It's good to know.
But considering that, like, most of a plant is cellulose. So they're talking mainly about, like, corn husks and, any kind of, like, shell or whatever.
All those macadamia nut shells.
Sure.
No, all those pistachio shells. Pistachio shells.
Say it, like, 3 times fast.
Pistachio shells. Pistachio shells. Pistachio shells. That's as good as it's getting, man.
Okay. I'm not really sure how good it would taste, like decomposed cellulose mush, but I guess if you're really hungry...
Brand new breakfast cereal. Frosted coated cellulose.
Oh, you went there.
Aha, I went there, and we're never coming back from there. There is now our home.
Uh-huh.
Pistachio shells, pistachio shells, pistachio shells. That was better.
But you messed up the last one.
But I can take as many takes as I want, because I have a home studio.
True. And you do edit the podcast, so...
Yes, I do. So if it stayed in, it was because I willed it.
And this amylose can also be apparently used as a hydrogen storage material and as a material for biodegradable food packaging.
And now we're cooking with gas.
Speaking of biodegradable food packaging...
I told you, we live there now.
My next story is about a treat plasma process for killing bacteria.
Cool.
So, like, food in a package could be treated with just sort of an ionized plasma that's not, like, hot or anything, and it'll kill pretty much all bacteria in, like, a minute.
So, you're saying that one day I will be able to go into a restaurant and order myself a raw steak legally and receive it legally?
Don't they have tartare in America?
What? We have tartar sauce. I don't know what kind of voodoo you're talking about.
Steak tartare, it's raw beef served with raw egg and onion and mustard, I think.
No, we don't. You cannot get that in a restaurant, at least not legally. Because all meat has to be heated up to at least 160 degrees for something, I think it's like something like 12 seconds to kill out all the bacteria. That is including if it's ordered rare. Like, a lot of times the best you can get is medium rare because the only way to cook a steak to that point to make sure everything is killed in it, the steak is like seared and sterilized and all that kind of stuff, is to pretty much get it to be medium rare. Now, I've gotten people to give me super rare steaks that are cold in the center, like so rare that it's not even bloody because it hasn't cooked long enough to become bloody. That's where I like my steak, and I would eat it raw if I could. Love raw meat, and so this is good news to me.
I guess you could use it with cooking. By the way, on the steak, I like it seared. But I also like it really rare. like, if you got a defibrillator, maybe you could bring it back.
Yes.
That's how rare I like it.
That's why you and I are friends. Ooh, also, this means that I could go to the grocery store and make sushi with raw fish sushi with the stuff there if I were to have one of these plasma things. I could do that safely. At home.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That's true. I mean, you could probably make one of these at home, but they're mainly testing it for, like, packaged fruits and vegetables and fairly even liquid that can kill the bacteria in the liquid.
Sweet. So, a whole new pasteurization process.
Yeah, so basically, they can pasteurize anything without heating it.
Oh, man. Milk's gonna taste so good.
Have you ever had, like, the all-natural, like, apple juice?
I have once.
Isn't it just way better than apple juice?
It is better than pasteurized. The heat does something.
Yeah, so maybe you can, like, kill the bacteria with the plasma and then get delicious, delicious apple juice.
Life got a whole lot sweeter.
And, like, they mainly tested it with, like, just bacteria in culture. They had, like, the most resistant bacteria in, like, a really resistant growth medium, and, like, still 45 seconds killed them all.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, there's also the whole like medical sterilization. Oh, and if you got these portable plasma stuff, it could be possibly used as field medicine to help sterilize wounds.
They didn't talk about that, but they did talk about portable plasma systems like this for actually treating water mobily.
Oh hey, yeah. Hell yeah, because water with that powdered stuff from the MREs tastes like shit.
There have been a bunch of other projects that looked at sterilizing with plasma, but there's like literally you can just put the plasma in the food package or whatever, and it still works.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet, I'll say. Hold on, I gotta let the cat out.
Okay, leave this in.
Okay, audience, you get to hear something special.
Come on, Weebut. Come on. I'm recording. I'm just letting the cat out. What's wrong? Dude, it's okay. My sister's getting chocolate. Yeah, hold on to it. Yeah, thanks. Cat out. We're not moving.
Close the door behind you. Thanks. And I'm back.
That was like a solid minute of dead air. I would find it. No, I still heard stuff, but I would find it hilarious if you left that in.
I will consider it.
Like, you can listen back to it, because I heard, like, the cat and your sister talking, and the door, and...
If I do leave it in, I will amplify it. And I will take this part out that we're talking about, where we're talking about leaving it in, so that it's just kind of like we went from there.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
My last story, it's not really a story, but you know, sometimes we bring up TED Talks and discuss them.
Yeah.
So, you know this Taylor Wilson kid?
Yeah, that kid.
So, for those of you who aren't familiar, he's like a 17-year-old, and when he was like, I want to say either 15 or 16, he made a fusion reactor in his garage.
Just like the radioactive Boy Scout. Only this guy, instead of getting a scare article in Reader's Digest, he gets a TED Talk. See how far we've come culturally in the last 15 years?
Yeah, so his fusion generator wasn't efficient. I mean, it needed more energy than it put out.
Oh, yeah, but still, dude, but what do you want? Come on, he's a 15-year-old doing it in his garage, alright? This is the closest thing to Tony Stark that we have right now. It's not good enough.
I'm not saying it's not impressive, I'm just clarifying for the audience. We're like, wait, well, we have fusion power then.
Yeah, and the audience is the one who's bitching. I heard you, man. I'm not always talking to you, okay, Q?
Jeez.
Bleh. I'm sticking my tongue out at you, in case you didn't know. Bleh. That's what that sound means.
I gathered that, yes. So since then, he's worked on, radioactive detection for anti-terrorists, that stuff, and the production of medical isotopes.
Show off.
Because, why not?
Show off. I bet he's a teacher's pet.
This latest TED Talk was about a compact fission reactor.
Oh, yeah?
Much smaller than the regular nuclear reactors we have. Apparently a lot safer. They need to be refueled every 30 years. And they power about, he said, between 20,000 and 100,000 homes.
Yeah, okay, I heard about them working on possibly that concept like a while ago. I mean, the idea of trying to have like miniature nuclear reactors is not a new one at all. And the fact that we're getting closer to that is awesome, because a lot of the anti-nuclear power stuff, yeah, just a whole lot of scare, because the word nuclear is incredibly scary to a lot of people. I mean, the Cold War was a thing. And nuclear power has become very safe, very effective, and honestly, if we hadn't stopped building nuclear plants in, the early 90s, like we did, I think we'd be in a lot better place as far as our infrastructure was concerned, as far as oil dependence. I don't know if you guys know this, but there are parts of the Appalachians that are getting fucking gutted and destroyed by coal mining. The act of taking the coal out of the ground, sometimes they have to destroy acres of habitat to do so. A lot of people don't realize that. Nuclear power is a good thing, and the closer we get to safer, more employable solutions like this, and smaller reactors that do a smaller amounts. I just read up on it, man. I mean, don't take our word for it. Read up on how and why this is, an improvement from the giant plant thing that we do now. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, so his design, apparently, it's so compact and modular that it can be, produced in a factory. Just built and, shipped anywhere.
Dope.
So, developing countries, space, and it works with a molten salt that's radioactive that then heats up a molten salt that's not radioactive, and then that heats up not water for a turbine, but a gas that somehow generates electricity. It didn't really go into it very much.
So basically, we no longer just use nuclear power to boil fucking ramen. Yeah, seriously, think about that. The same process that cooks your ramen is what's making the power happen. It's the exact same as burning coal. They make steam to spin a turbine. I mean,
Yeah.
we are still a steam-powered society. Think about that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So basically, this thing is gas-based. It's higher temperatures, so rather than being 20 to 30% efficient like current nuclear plants, this process is between 45 and 50% efficient. So it's small scale, refueled every 30 years. It'll use any kind of downgraded uranium or plutonium, and it actually uses up more of the radioactive material in the end than current plants. And this whole thing can just be buried, and if it overheats, the molten radioactive salt literally just drains into a storage tank.
Okay, what's the waste issue with this?
There isn't.
You're gonna have to run all that by me again and tell me why that there's no nuclear waste. That's the one point they have.
When in standard nuclear power plants, when the fuel rods are spent, they're still radioactive, but they can't be used anymore.
Gotcha.
So with this process, more of the like neutrons actually get just used up in the process.
This strips the the act of making electricity strips the radioactivity out of the stuff. That is awesome.
Yeah, in this way, using the molten salts and the gas. So basically, you can just build these reactors in a factory, bury them underground, and then you don't have to worry about them for 30 years.
Awesome. Well, what was this kid's name again?
Taylor Wilson?
I'm gonna keep that name in mind because he's probably gonna be about 25, 26 by the time I'm getting to cougar age. I would consider it my duty.
Like, there's so many places I could go with that.
Oh.
I'm not even sure where.
Alright, roll a d20. Pick one.
Mm,
What, cougar got your tongue?
No, I'm not even, yeah. He's incredible and brilliant, and I want him on the podcast, but part of me really fucking hates him.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, he's graduating high school this month.
Oh. Burn. Hats off.
That just like pierces my soul.
Hats off and flags half-mast for the death of my dignity. Shit.
And he just started a company based on the multiple technologies he's pioneered.
Shit.
Isn't that just like a kick in the balls?
That is a kick in the balls. We need to do something with our lives, man. We need to do something with our lives.
Yeah. So if anyone knows Taylor Wilson and can get us in touch with him, please let us know. Don't send him this episode because, you know, but we'd love to have him on the podcast.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just like we don't want to give the wrong impression.
You just said you wanted to have sex with him in a few years.
No, I was saying that if I ever got to cougar age,
Well, you will eventually.
and you don't know that, and I were to meet him in a bar, and I was not attached, and I were to find out who he was, I'd consider it. It's a big if scenario that's probably never gonna happen, right? So, I mean, I could say what I want about it. Zoom to 10 years in the future. I'm sitting there, la 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 la.
Let's not do this. Because you're just, like, digging a bigger hole for yourself.
Oh god, I am. Well, that's how unsuperstitious I am, okay? What could go wrong? See? Look at me tempt fate.
We could not get him on the podcast.
Damn.
That was the best pause ever.
Yeah, drinking that awkward.
Delicious.
Anywho.
Speaking of doing something with our lives.
Yeah, speaking of doing something with our lives, it snowed a lot, and apparently there's a silver lining to that. Because did you know that there is an ecosystem that is called the subniveum? It's a seasonal ecosystem that only exists when there's snow on the ground. Because basically, when there's snow on the ground, it's actually warmer underneath the snow than it is above the snow. Because, you know, there's no wind chill, and the snow actually kind of insulates heat. So, like, all kinds of, like, bugs and amphibians and lizards and bears and shit all hang out underneath the snow, and they live and survive that way. When the snow's been melting a lot. Like, peak snow has actually moved back a month from February to January, and it's been thawing like 2 weeks sooner. And it was just kind of like, well, if it's warm enough to thaw, then it's warm enough for these animals, so no problem, right? Except for the fact that just because the snow goes away does not mean the temperature isn't fluctuating all over the damn place. The snow's going away because it gets warm enough for it to snow, and then it's too dry for more snow to go down. So all of a sudden the snow's gone, and bam, 2 below wind chill over the night. That's a lot of dead bugs, amphibians, and stuff, so that when the birds come back up from, like, their summer migration, they don't have anything to eat. This is looking like it's probably going to devastate Wisconsin and the upper Midwest, potentially.
Do you think a bear under the snow would be a little bit inconspicuous? Or conspicuous, rather?
They actually use the snow on their lairs as insulation while they hibernate.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was supposed to be a silver lining, guys.
Yay, well...
Yeah, so it make more like emotional blackmail to make you feel like a dick for bitching about the weather.
Yeah, people. I don't know. It didn't snow
Don't you feel like an asshole now? Because you had to clean out your driveway.
It didn't snow here, so I am unconnected to this story.
Yeah. Peanut gallery. Tourist.
Wait, what?
Damn it. Standing around in a loud shirt, taking pictures in the winter of my discontent.
Where's this?
Gonna show them to you. Gonna show your vacation slides to your friends and loved ones back home.
This got really, like, abstract really fast.
Oh, that's just my soul. Hair flip.
I realize it's not a visual medium, so you had to say hair flip.
Yep. Deal with it.
Didn't you have another story?
Yeah. Okay, you know that thing where you'll be at a party and some drunk motherfucker will walk up to you and be like, "Hey, I hear you're smart and shit. Did you know that glass is really just a very viscous biscuit liquid?"
Now, is that how you're going to be when
really
you meet
slow.
Taylor Wilson in the bar?
Did you know that, Taylor Wilson? And then he's gonna be like, "Okay, you drunk bitch. For one, no." No, it's not. Because scientists, back in, like, 2014, figured out, for sure, after the study that they did in 2013 with some amber, that no, glass is not a liquid. So basically it's looking like frat people all over the place might be wrong. Because, you know, there's that thing where in, like, the really old churches, the glass panes are thicker at the bottom than they are at the top. Now, I actually heard once that glass is a solid, and the reason why the glass panes are thicker is actually because of how they were made. There would usually be a thicker side and a thinner side when they were making these, and they just put the thicker side downward because it's more stable that way, and that was just the standard way to smith glass. That's what I heard. And I've, like, heard both, and then I see this thing, and I'm just kind of like, what? 20-million-year-old amber shatters theories of glass as a liquid? Scientists, this is actually a thing? Dude, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. My world is blown.
Yeah.
Glass might be a liquid, but it might not be.
So basically it's like, the story's like, despite what everyone smart thought, glass might be a liquid. Oh wait, it's not.
Yeah, so those drunk-ass frat people are wrong, and I'm also wrong. Everybody's wrong, dude. Everybody's wrong with this. There's just nothing right in the world.
Except the people who don't care.
Fucking Ambers. Always causing problems. First, blowing this whole thing apart with the glass, and also housing mosquitoes that brought dinosaurs back to life, and they ate a guy.
Yeah.
Telling you what, man, that stuff. It's not even a real rock.
Isn't it?
It's tree sap, dude.
What is, like, the mineral amber?
Amber is fossilized tree sap, dude.
Yeah, but it's a mineral then. Fossilized means it's turned into a mineral.
Well, I mean, it's a type of silica.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, they're looking at it as glass, and glass is silica, so, yeah, it's a type of silica.
The more you know.
Do-do-do. Actually, let me look that up to make sure, because I'm just assuming, I'm assuming it has to be silica, because otherwise, why are these scientists studying to find out if glass is a liquid or not? I mean, it'd be stupid.
Well, you can have non-silica glass, I think.
Oh, they did mention, like, things like plexiglass, or I mean, amber's an ultra-stable glass, while they have things like polyphenol acetate and fiberglass or epoxy stuff that they use. They'll use it like in making airplanes and like cars and stuff. And if they like decide to use some new type of glass material to like make an airplane out of, and it turns out that it's going to warp over time, that means the airplane's not going to work. It's like, who wants an airplane that is not, that basically deforms over a couple of decades?
I guess. I mean, how many airplanes have that kind of lifespan, really?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it might not even matter. Yeah. Anyway, so looking up.
Well, you do that. Earlier, when I made the segue, speaking of doing something with our lives, I actually wasn't segueing you into the winter story. I was going to talk about my potential, maybe, probably not, job writing for Discover Magazine.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring this up on the podcast, and even though quite a few people seem to watch it to the end, I also bring it up now. I've been in contact with Discover Magazine, and they're considering hiring freelancers for their news section on their website called Debrief.
Ooh.
So I can actually get a paying job to do this kind of stuff. I would still like brainstorm and stuff, obviously.
That would rock so hard.
They recommended I get like a press access to the Nature Publishing Group on their website, and this other collection of journals called Eureka Alert. But since YouTube is my only example of work, Eureka denied my registration.
What would Spider Jerusalem do?
I don't know. But I haven't heard back from Nature yet.
Woohoo! So there's still hope.
Yep, and I can still try and get other journals, I just won't get the stories. Like with this press access, you can see papers before they are widely published.
Dude, that would be so awesome. Dude, think of what that would mean for Brainstorm. Imagine if you could, like, break news on Brainstorm.
I mean, because it's papers, I'd probably just stick to biotech.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, a new series like Breaking Biotech.
Yeah, man. Dude, that would be awesome.
I mean, I'd probably still keep Brainstorm the same format.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess people give feedback in the comments if you want. We can't stop you, really, but consider that a solicitation. Like, if you know anything about how to go about this, or what you'd like to see in the future. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, because it's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario, because, like, Discover wants me to have this access, but I can't get it because I don't have any official journalism connections yet.
But in order to get those connections, it'd help if you had that access.
Yeah. So if you run a small science news or just regular news website...
That's actually news and not what we do.
Basically, if I can write for, like, anything to, like, say I'm a journalist, quote-unquote, I might be able to get this access.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Hey. Hey, maybe one of those sites out there would also, I'll sweeten the pot by throwing in, I do voice work for...
Cheap?
I'm trying to get started too, man. I'm trying to get started in, like, possibly doing more, voice work for, like, a wider variety of stuff. Right now I just do Brainstorm, and it'd be kind of nice to break out there, and I'm having a lot of trouble. Like, I try Elance. Thing is, Elance doesn't really have a specific place for just voice work. Like, they basically, you solicit in all, like, people will solicit for voice work in all these different categories, and you actually have to pay to be able to submit more than 15 offers a month, and like saying, hey, I'll do this, or hey, I'll do that. And also you have to pay to be able to respond to job posts in more than one category. So basically, otherwise, I'm stuck. I was stuck paying Elance and not being able to get anything because I was having trouble working with the site, and I I guess my profile wasn't very good. I'm just kind of struggling
Yeah.
with it.
S- s-
Okay, I'm probably not gonna leave that part in.
Why not?
I don't know. Just seems kind of unprofessional. I didn't think out my pitch at all. So this is why I didn't want to do this. I'm really uncomfortable at it.
I'm gonna keep talking like that part of the conversation existed. So if you edit it out, it'll just be confusing.
Well, can I at least start my pitch over?
No,
Man,
my pitch was terrible.
I just fundamentally have a problem getting myself out there, don't I? I mean, I'm afraid to actually, like, talk about my skills on my own damn profile page on Elance. I'm afraid to pitch myself for my own show, on my own show, which I do voice work for a living. Hey, I only do Brainstorm because I don't know how to get anything else. Man, I suck at this.
Which is why you're keeping us safe.
Yeah. Anyway, if you ever need, like, voice work for, like,
What's that paper noise?
wow, I am playing with my mail. See, this pitch thing makes me nervous.
It's okay. You're just... We're listening to our fans who listen this far into the podcast. I think we're okay.
God damn it. Anyway, if there's anybody out there who would need a female anchor to maybe, like, voice over a video, or maybe you have, like, some kind of business presentation or some sort of, like, academic coursework, just anything that you need somebody to talk pretty over, message Q or message me at my channel. There's usually a link down there. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me, actually. It would probably be through YouTube, if you ever need anything.
If messages do get sent to me, I'll forward them to you right away. And also, if anyone has connections to some sort of science writing or science journalism job, that would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, so that was the most painful request for work that I have ever done in my life, and I don't know what my problem is, so I don't... Maybe some of y'all can relate to it. If you know you can do something well enough to get paid for it, but you feel like a sleaze asking for work. It's like, if I'm not handing an application to somebody wearing a paper hat, I don't feel like it doesn't feel like work to me. It's weird. I almost feel like trying to find a career is in a way cheating the system, because I've been... I don't know.
Yeah, and I am terrified, because, like, I'm almost more afraid of, like, getting this kind of access and job. Because I've never written from a scientific paper before.
Yeah, I guess it really is scary to just step out of the safety zone, and over half, if not the vast majority of advice that you get for how to be an adult and how to survive in the world is based entirely around erring on the side of caution. So anytime you try to do something at all ballsy, it's like the balls just want to run and hide.
My balls do that a lot. I should probably see a doctor about that.
I haven't seen my balls in years.
Wait, what?
My balls! I used to keep them. They were pretty green metal, and I used to keep them in this nice silk-covered box. My balls.
So yeah, Taylor Wilson, if you want to come on the podcast...
Let's not even... This is the podcast that shall not be named.
That's an episode title.
Yeah, okay, and I can't think of a way to end this, so we're just gonna end this by ending it.
I'm just cut there.
It ends now.